Jenkins, Kentucky may be more rural and laid back than other places, but time is still a precious commodity here. That's why Angie Harden is happy to send her kids off for a 7.5-hour school day. The trade-off? A 3-day weekend.
Me and my kids love it because they get to spend time with their grandparents on Mondays.
Jenkins began the new schedule 4 years ago. The goal, improve classroom instruction by consolidating planning. Mondays are specifically for teachers.
That gives our teachers opportunity to plan together collaboratively and really focus on instruction, focus on student learning, and that's the primary motive behind this.
But for many school districts across the country, rising fuel costs are the big reason they're even considering a 4-day week.
We have not seen a spike in the number going to 4-day school weeks, but we've seen a spike in those considering it.
Why? Fuel prices are nearly double what school districts paid 2 years ago. In places like Des Moines, Iowa, more than $1 million will be spent on fuel this year. That makes taking buses off the road another day a week very attractive. The energy crisis of the late 1970s led to the 4-day plan. Today, some 100 districts use it. Most are rural, and many are out west. 57 Colorado districts go 4 days, and 21 in New Mexico.
Who wants to choose my groups today? Nate,
in Jenkins, the schedule is now somewhat blended. Students go to class for 5 days in September and March. That helps them get ready for spring testing. But the 7.5-hour day remains throughout the year. Teachers say the 4-day weeks improve students' morale.
They're eager to come. You know, when you only get 4 days, they're actually wanting to come to school. Anybody that needs any help here?
And teachers say the planning day helps their morale as well.
But you have an entire day without, the stress of being ready for the kids and, making sure you're on time because we're so, it's bell to bell. Every minute counts.
Parents told us 4 days is better for their kids in many ways.
They have the Mondays to prepare for bigger projects and they have more time to get ready for stuff like that.
I love the 4-day week, especially if they have doctor's appointments. You can schedule that on Monday. It cuts down on absenteeism and they get a break.
Student attendance in Jenkins went up by 0.8% the first year, which meant $40,000 more in state funding. Teacher sub-days went down by 8%. Total savings are almost $85,000 a year. That's more than 2% of its overall budget. One unexpected result is that test scores have stayed the same. And that's one of the biggest questions about the 4-day week, its impact on student learning. So far, no research exists.
There are anecdotal stories about some good things that have happened with 4-day school weeks, and there are some concerns that school boards have about what impact will this have, especially on struggling students, for example.
Daycare is another potential obstacle. What happens to kids on the 5th day?
We developed a plan with our 21st Century, which is an after-school program, and we were able to collaboratively work with them, and they were able to provide workers and volunteers to go out. And we also partnered with 2 churches.
But for many urban districts, the child care issue alone may stop any serious consideration of a 4-day plan. It's also tougher to get community support in bigger cities.
Doing all right today, guys?
But for smaller-sized districts, now may be the time, at least to think about it.
It's not for everybody and will not be for everybody. But I really believe a school district in this day and time potentially needs to look at it.
It's too soon to tell whether looking at the 4-day week is just a knee-jerk reaction to gas prices or the beginning of a trend. But with high prices expected to stay, many communities find they must begin to cut costs in new and creative ways. Heather Sells, CBN News.